The main drivers of fuel price adjustments are the rand-dollar exchange rate. The rand strengthened against the US dollar, and this led to lower contributions to the basic fuel prices of petrol, diesel and illuminating paraffin. The price of Brent crude oil also increased as economic activities resumed globally following the easing of the respective lockdown measures. In terms of finished products, the international prices of refined petroleum products also increased following that of crude oil.
The adjustments to the fuel price in South Africa for August come off the back of global oil prices, which rose during July, despite the strengthening rand over the same period. Oil traded in a fairly tight range throughout July, but it was a substantial climb at the beginning of the month, plus some recent volatility that combined to push prices higher. Without the rand's good performance in July, the increases would have been higher, and they are solely attributable to increasing oil strength. With the level of global economic turmoil that currently prevails, predicting a normal band for oil is near impossible. We still advise motorists to be pragmatic about the possibility of further increases and to plan their budgets accordingly.
Meanwhile, the Automobile Association, NAMSA, says the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the motor vehicle sector in the second quarter have been bruising. New car sales saw the biggest quarterly decline on record, with a 63.4% decrease compared to the second quarter of 2019. At the same time, 467 jobs were lost during that period.
Vehicle sales in South Africa has declined for the month of July 2020. By 29.6% when we compare that with the corresponding period of last year in July 2019. This decline obviously is as a consequence of COVID-19, and we believe very strongly that it will continue at least up until such time that the lockdown restrictions have been lifted in South Africa. We are also mindful of the fact that the vehicle sales, the domestic vehicle sales in particular, have been declining in the last couple of years in South Africa, around 5 years or so. And we believe very strongly that the time has now come for us to be able to have a conversation with government in terms of how best we can be able to stimulate demand for local vehicles, because our numbers and studies have shown that a lot of people are now moving towards buying second-hand vehicles or used vehicles as opposed to brand new vehicles. And it is our view as NAMSA that we need to be able to energize the sale of brand new vehicles so that we can be able to continue to produce these vehicles, particularly in South Africa, so that we can be able to industrialize our country and make sure that we are able to create new jobs for our people and make sure that we are able to continue to sell our vehicles also as exports, because currently 64% of what we are producing in South Africa goes out of the country as exports, and we want to be able to make sure that we are able to increase our capacity and capability to do this going forward. So in the next couple of months, we will be engaging with government so that we can be able to make sure that we are able to stimulate demand for local vehicles in our country.
With the easing of COVID-19 lockdown restrictions in South Africa and abroad, NAMSA expects the domestic new vehicle market and export sales to improve in the second half of the year. Diabosito, SABC News, Johannesburg.